They told him he had 5 good years left. That was 15 years ago. He's still standing, still speaking, still living. This is Living with Parkinson's, the good, the bad, and the reality. A podcast about what happens when life throws you something incurable, and you fight back anyway. Hosted by Bryce Perry. Diagnosed at 40, 15 years into the battle. This is the truth behind the tremor. Let's begin.
Picture this. You're reaching for your morning coffee. You're trying to start your day when suddenly your hand decides it's auditioning for Dancing with the Stars. That's my daily reality with Parkinson's and dyskinesia. It's unpredictable, it's awkward, and sometimes it's kind of funny, honestly, at least when it's not spilling coffee all over my shirt. Now, if you're living with Parkinson's, I bet you know that mix of embarrassment and frustration, especially when those movements show up in public. And maybe you worry about what people are thinking, or you find yourself hiding at home more than you'd like to. Or maybe you're just wondering if this is what your future holds. If any of that sounds familiar, you're definitely not alone. Stay with me for this episode because I'm sharing the raw truth about daily life with dyskinesia, the good, the bad, and yes, sometimes the downright ridiculousness. Plus, I'll walk you through the 30-second confident reset that I use to turn awkward moments into I've got this moments. And if you stick around to the end, I'll tell you the story that completely changed how I felt about being seen with dyskinesia in public. And let's face this together one unpredictable day at a time. Hey everyone, I'm Bryce, and if you've caught that opening, that's my daily reality with Parkinson's dyskinesia. Today I'm breaking down exactly what dyskinesia is, why it happens, and most importantly, the 30-second confidence reset that I promised you. Plus, stick around because the story I'm sharing at the end, it completely changed how I show up in public when these moments happen. Now let's just dive into let's just dive in. Okay, let's start with the basics. Dyskinesia, what it is. A lot of people think it's just another word for tremor, but it's not. Tremor is part of Parkinson's itself, and dyskinesia, it's those extra involuntary movements that show up years after being on medication, especially Levodopa. It's your hand waving, your foot tapping, your whole body doing the cha-cha without asking your permission. Sometimes it's subtle, maybe a wiggle or a twitch, and sometimes it's like you've got your own backup dancers and they're determined to steal the show. Now, why does it happen? Well, here's the quick science. It's not Parkinson's itself causing dyskinesia, but the way your brain processes dopamine after years of medication. The meds wear off, they kick in, they wear off again, and your brain's like, what are we doing here? So it starts firing off signals in all directions, and suddenly you're doing a one-person flash mob in the kitchen. But here's where I want to clear up a massive myth, and one I hear all the time in the Parkinson's community. A lot of us have been told, don't start Levodopa too soon, or you'll get dyskinesia. And a lot of people try to avoid going on a Levodopa for the longest amount of time. But here's what the research and my own journey actually show. Dyskinesia usually pops up after several years on Levodopa, sometimes 5, sometimes 10, and for some people, it barely happens at all. It's not just about how long you've been taking it. It depends on your dose, how often you take it, your age, your body, and even your genes. Now, here's the big kicker. Waiting as long as you can to start Levodopa doesn't really stop dyskinesia. It just makes you put up with more stiffness, slowness, and frustration than you need to. Actually, sometimes in those big swings of taking a ton of Levodopa at once or letting yourself go too long between doses can actually make dyskinesia worse. What do I always say? Meds on time every time. Those gaps can actually make dyskinesia worse. So those big upswings, right? You're on, you're off, you're on, you're off, you're on, you're off. I'm telling you, it will make dyskinesia worse. So what really works? Well, here's the bottom line. You finding that sweet spot with your doctor. Enough Levodopa to help you live well and move through the day, but not so much like you're riding a roller coaster. And let me tell you, finding that balance is no small thing. After about a year of taking my doses, experimenting, and honestly getting a bit frustrated, I finally felt like we found it. I actually felt good, like like the old Bryce again. And, to be honest with you, I probably even felt better than I had for a few years, even pre-diagnosis, right? And for a while, it was like I thought, oh my God, I'm actually going to get my life back. Like, this isn't a big deal. Like, this is going to be fine. But then at my next appointment, my movement disorder specialist, he smiled and he said, excellent. We found what works. And now I'm going to cut you back a little. Oh my God. I was so furious. I was frustrated. And honestly, I was just completely mad. Why couldn't I keep feeling great? That's when my doctor told me, this is what he said. I want you to feel good, not great. And I'm like, what? Come on. And he said, because I want to keep you on the lowest possible dose that still helps you, right? Still helps you get through the day. So we can hopefully keep these side effects like dyskinesia away for as long as possible. Now, that was super hard to hear at the time, right? But now I get it. 15 years later, I get it. 15 years ago, it'll be September coming up here. 15 years ago, I was pissed at I'm like, this isn't fair. And I was mad. I'm thinking, what is this guy doing? What does he have against me? Why does he not want me to feel great? What has he got against me? 15 years later now, and I think about where I'm at in my journey and my dyskinesia. Do I have dyskinesia? Absolutely. My dyskinesia is like my hand. So my hand likes to do its own thing. I'm continually rolling stuff in my hands. Like, I mean, I get the rolling tremor, like rolling pills, but mine is like, I'm just kind of doing stuff and I'm waving my hands a lot. So I definitely get it, but I don't get it as badly as I thought. And that's 15 years I've been on levodopa. So if that's you today and you're sitting here and maybe you're got diagnosed or you're thinking you're being diagnosed or you're trying to hold back, and yet you're struggling day to day today, don't struggle, right? Just get enough in you so that your day isn't challenged, that you can live today, right? And that's what it's all about, right? It's finding that sweet spot. Not chasing perfect, but just making sure that you're getting the most out of your medication for the longest possible time. And let me tell you, again, like I said, my dyskinesia isn't as dramatic as some people's, but it still shows up. And when it does, it's always the most random moments. I remember the first time I really noticed it, right? I was at a meeting at work and I was trying my best to look calm and professional. And suddenly my legs started bouncing so fast. Like it was bouncing so fast that I could have powered a sewing machine, right? Everyone in the room was trying to pretend not to notice. And me, I just tried to look like I was just really enthusiastic about the quarterly budget. Here's the thing. It's awkward. You feel like everybody's watching you. And the truth is most people probably aren't. I used to feel self-conscious, like maybe I should just stay home on days when the movements were stronger. But if you do that, then you're letting Parkinson's steal away more than just your dopamine. You're letting it take away the days of your life. And honestly, sometimes I wish there was like an app, like this app that would track like my best wiggle moments, right? And I have these like dreams that maybe I'd go viral, like middle-aged man invents new TikTok dance, like the Levodopa shuffle, right? Like, so what do you do? Like, it's crazy, right? What do you do? How do you handle the stares, the embarrassment, the urge to apologize for your own body? Like, do you ever get that? Do you ever like just want to like you're looking and your body's flailing or it's doing these crazy things and there's people beside you around you and you're like literally apologizing, like I'm so sorry about this. This is just my levodopa or this is just my Parkinson's. Like, really, we're apologizing to people for our body? Like, is that like a little bit insane? A little bit? I don't know. I think it is. I think it's a little crazy. But here's the thing. For me, it comes down to what I call a confidence reset. And here is that 30-second trick that I was telling you about. When I feel those moments ramping up, excuse me, especially in public, I pause. I have to pause. And I can't tell you enough. You take a pause, right? I literally stop for just a moment. Take a deep breath in. And I tell myself, this is just part of my daily reality. And it doesn't define me. And I'm not here to perform for anybody else. And then sometimes I even add a little joke like, hey, you know what? You should see my moves on a good day. The truth is, when I stop trying to hide it or overthink it, people react way better than I expect. Most folks they're they're either curious or they're just, to be honest, they're either curious or they're just too busy with their own lives to even care. And the people that do care, well, they're usually the ones who matter, the ones who want to understand and not judge. Hey, if any of this is sounding familiar or if you're finding these tips helpful, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. I drop episodes every week. It's all the real life ups and downs and surprises with Parkinson's, so you don't miss anything that you might help you or might help someone else that you love. Just subscribe, come along for the ride. But here's a couple more real life tools that I use. Okay. I try to plan big activities for times when I know my meds are going to be working the best, right? I don't obsess over it because life doesn't always stick to a schedule. And that's something that you're going to have to get used to. Life doesn't stick to a schedule. Neither does our bodies half the time, right? But everything I do, like even right now, when I'm filming this or I'm recording the podcast, I record it when I know that I'm going to be at my peak prime performance, right? And so you just have to plan around it and plan through it. I've learned to laugh about it with the people that are close to me. My wife's even started giving me a giggle meter, right? A giggle meter. And it's a score out of 10 sometimes. And spoiler alert, I'm still waiting for the perfect 10. And that bothers me because I'm a little competitive. So that's the way it is. And here's another tip that you should maybe think about that I'll give you. And this is what I do. If I'm out in public, I always try to find a spot to sit or to lean, right? So if I need to, right? And I focus on whatever I can control. If someone asks, me about it, I just explain to them. I said, oh, that's part of my Parkinson's. And sometimes my meds make me a little extra wiggly, right? A little extra wiggly today. That's all there is to it. But this is something I want you to hear, and I want you to listen to this very carefully. I know this might sound easier said than done. And you might be thinking that right now. Sure, easier said than done. And I get that. Trust me. I spent 5 years after my diagnosis trying to hide everything, right? If you're in that spot right now, it's okay. I've been there. And honestly, here's the thing. Honestly, I don't want you to waste 5 years like I did. I don't want you to waste 1 year, right? I don't want you to waste 1 day. Learn from me. Take small steps. Start wherever you are and give yourself some grace. Dyskinesia isn't your fault. It's not something that you can just try harder to control. And it doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It's just a side effect. Yeah, like an annoying side effect. But it also means that you're still here, you're still moving, and you're still living your life. And if you take nothing else from this episode, let it be this. Don't let dyskinesia make you feel invisible. You deserve to show up, take up space, and keep living your story, even if your body decides to throw a few little surprise dance moves in along the way. Okay, here's the story that I promised you in the beginning. This totally changed everything for me. So Carmen and I were out for dinner, right? And we're out with dinner with friends, and we're just having a great night. It's a great night. I'm feeling good. Everything's going well. Meds are working great. Out of nowhere, completely nowhere, my hand, and probably honestly my entire arm, starts going wild at the table. And before I can even get self-conscious about it, Carmen just looks at me and she says, so are you conducting your imaginary orchestra again? Or are you just trying to be the center of attention? And the whole table just cracked up. I mean, laughed, really laughed. It was like one of those deep belly break the awkwardness kind of laughs. But here's the best part. It actually opened up a real conversation. I got to explain to our friends what was happening and why it was happening. And suddenly everyone had a bit more understanding and awareness. And that moment, it didn't feel like the spotlight was on my Parkinson's anymore. It just felt like life. And it made me realize the more open I am, the less power dyskinesia has over me. The people who matter will always stick around. Awkward dance moves and all. Okay, here's your Bryce-isms of the episode, your Bryce-ism. With Parkinson's, your best dance moves show up when you least expect them. So why not just own the spotlight? Just do it. Hey, if you can relate to anything I've just shared, or if you got your own dyskinesia stories, tips, drop them in the comments. I love to read the comments and I love a conversation. And I reply to every single comment. And if you're looking for more support, encouragement, and real talk about Parkinson's, don't forget to subscribe and share this with somebody who needs it. We're all in this together, one unpredictable day at a time. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.
Parkinson's may be part of your life, but it doesn't get to define it. Thanks for listening to Living with Parkinson's, the good, the bad, and the reality. If this episode moved you, helped you, or reminded you you're not alone, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Want to go deeper? The Inner Circle is waiting. Monthly Zoom calls, 24/7 community, and a direct line to Bryce. You'll find the link in the show notes. Until next time, keep showing up and keep doing life today.